During construction site cleanup, two workers standing on a truck bed were struck when a crane lowering a bundle of scaffold tubes swung into them, knocking both workers off the top of the truck box and onto the ground below. This incident highlights the serious risks of allowing workers to stand on truck beds during active lifting operations. No personnel should be positioned inside or on vehicles while loads are being placed. Clear communication between crane operators and ground crews, along with proper lift planning and enforcement of safe zones, is essential to prevent fall and struck-by injuries during cleanup activities. At a metalworks facility, a worker was knocked unconscious when he cut the wire, restraining a large roll of sheet metal, causing the stored tension to release and a metal flap to whip back into him. This incident highlights the extreme hazards of stored energy in coiled materials. Sheet metal rolls must be properly secured and controlled before restraints are removed, and workers should never position themselves in the line of fire. Proper training, face protection, and awareness of spring-back forces are essential to prevent serious head injuries when handling coiled metal. In a transformer factory, a worker crushed his foot when a heavy metal disc tipped and fell directly onto his toes, causing him to jump back in pain uncontrollable, trying to call for help. This incident highlights the dangers of manually handling heavy components without proper support or positioning. Heavy metal parts should always be secured or moved using mechanical lifting aids, and workers must keep their feet clear of suspended or unstable loads. Steel-toe safety footwear, proper lifting techniques, and maintaining stable footing are essential to prevent severe crush injuries in manufacturing environments. On a port road, a worker walking in the middle of traffic was run over and crushed by a forklift carrying a heavy load that obstructed the operator's view. The forklift continued moving, unaware that it was dragging the injured worker along the road. This incident highlights the extreme dangers of pedestrian exposure to moving forklifts, especially when visibility is blocked by heavy loads. Pedestrians must stay clear of active vehicle routes, and operators must ensure clear sight lines or use spotters when moving large cargo. Strict traffic control, designated walkways, and proper load management are essential to prevent severe crush injuries and fatalities in busy port areas. In the parking lot of an event venue, a person was crushed by stacks of water bottles falling from the cargo bay of a truck as she tried to stop them from tipping over. The load had been pushed toward her by a careless delivery worker, causing it to topple, though he managed to prevent the pallet board transporter from also falling onto her. This incident highlights the dangers of unstable loads during manual handling and improper delivery practices. People should never position themselves directly in the path of heavy or stacked cargo, and deliveries must be controlled with proper equipment and procedures. Inside a restaurant, a person who was peacefully standing was suddenly rammed by a water buffalo that entered the building, getting impaled by the animal's horns and thrown off its back. This incident highlights the extreme dangers posed by large, uncontrolled animals in public spaces. Proper barriers, enclosures, and crowd control measures are essential to prevent such attacks. Immediate medical attention, safety awareness, and controlled access to livestock or large animals are critical to reduce the risk of life-threatening injuries in environments where humans and large animals may come into close contact. A worker restoring an excavator was struck in the back of his legs when the bucket suddenly moved due to hydraulic tension engaging unexpectedly. He falls to the ground and cannot stand up from the possibly life-changing leg injury. This incident highlights the dangers of working around heavy machinery with stored energy. Excavator buckets and other hydraulic attachments can move suddenly if pressure is released or engaged unexpectedly. Workers must ensure hydraulic systems are fully depressurized, follow proper lockout/tagout procedures, and maintain a safe position away from potential pinch or strike zones. Awareness and adherence to safety protocols are essential to prevent serious impact injuries during maintenance work. In a junkyard, a worker cutting open a bulldozer spring was violently struck when the spring exploded, breaking his legs from the extreme force and launching tiny debris everywhere on his skin. This incident highlights the extreme dangers of handling tensioned mechanical components. Springs and similar parts store immense energy that can be released unpredictably when cut or tampered with. Workers must use proper tools, safety barriers, and personal protective equipment, like leg guards, and maintain a safe stance clear of the potential line of fire. Strict adherence to controlled release procedures is essential to prevent serious crush and fracture injuries in junkyard and mechanical repair environments. Outside a metal sheet factory, a rogue roll of sheet metal rolled down uncontrollably. A worker attempted to stop it by standing in front and extending his arms, but he was instantly flattened by the heavy roll. This incident highlights the extreme dangers of uncontrolled heavy materials. Large rolls of metal must be properly secured with chocks or restraints to prevent rolling, and workers should never attempt to manually stop them as they can easily weigh tons. Awareness of potential hazards, use of mechanical controls, and maintaining safe distances are critical to prevent fatal crush injuries in metal handling areas. At a condo construction site, motorists witnessed a crane mechanism collapse, sending a part of the operator's cabin plummeting from above, immediately followed by a large crane beam striking a motorcycle rider passing below. This incident highlights the extreme dangers of structural failure in construction equipment. Cranes must undergo rigorous inspections, load testing, and maintenance to ensure all components, including cabins and beams, are secure. Exclusion zones beneath active lifting operations must be strictly enforced to protect both workers and the public. Proper planning, safety barriers, and strict adherence to operational protocols are essential to prevent catastrophic accidents involving falling equipment in construction zones. In a grocery store, a fully extended forklift, stacking a large box of condensed milk, tipped over to the side from the immense weight, crushing a woman who was shopping and burying her under groceries. This incident highlights the extreme dangers of operating forklifts near the public without proper safety measures. Loads must be properly secured and balanced, and forklifts should only operate within restricted staff zones, far from pedestrian traffic. Safety barriers, clear warning signs, and designated forklift paths are essential to protect customers. In addition, operators must be thoroughly trained in load handling, tipping prevention, and emergency response to prevent catastrophic injuries in retail and crowded environments. On a ship, 2 new workers got too close to a tensioned rope, and one even held it, instantly killing both of them as the line suddenly snapped with tremendous force. It was a mooring line being slowly released as the vessel moved out to sea, building up immense tension and potential energy. This incident highlights the extreme dangers of working near tensioned mooring lines. Workers must always maintain a safe distance from mooring lines under tension and never handle them manually without proper training. Strict adherence to safety protocols, clear communication, and proper supervision are essential to prevent fatal accidents in maritime operations.